Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Deji Badimosi. A military court in Nigeria has sentenced 54 soldiers to death after they were found guilty of mutiny. The soldiers were convicted Wednesday in Abuja on a 2-count charge of criminal conspiracy to commit mutiny. 4 other soldiers were acquitted. The convicted soldiers, mostly officers involved in the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists in northeast Nigeria, had to die on stakes by firing squad. The soldiers attached to the 7th Division Nigerian Army in Maiduguri include 2 corporals, a couple, 9 lance corporals, lance corporal now, and 49 private soldiers. The charge sheet said the soldiers conspired to commit mutiny against the authorities of the 7th Division on August 4 at the Molai Primary School camp opposite AIT Maiduguri, Borno State. The soldiers are the 2nd batch of Nigerian soldiers condemned to death by Nigerian military courts for mutiny. The trial of the soldiers began October 15 on allegations they disobeyed orders to join operations against the extremist group Boko Haram. All the accused soldiers pleaded not guilty to the charges. Now, after several days of speculations, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Nigeria's main opposition party, Muhammadu Buhari, has nominated former Attorney General of Lagos State, Yemi Osinbajo, as his running mate for next year's general election. Professor Osinbajo previously served as a special advisor to the Attorney General of Nigeria from 1988 to 1992. He later became the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Lagos State in 1999 and reappointed for a 2nd term in 2003. He is a senior advocate of Nigeria and senior partner in the law firm of Simmons & Cooper Partners. He is also a professor of law and was the head of Department of Political Law at the University of Lagos from 1997 to 1999. The nomination of Osinbajo by Buhari comes a day to the deadline to submit his nomination form to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, after days of marathon meetings over the choice of his vice presidential candidate. Now, following the announcement that Buhari nominated Professor Yemi Osinbajo as his running mate, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who is of course the former governor of Lagos State, has pledged his support to the candidacy of the APC presidential candidate. Tinubu, in a statement issued in Abuja Wednesday, said though he was offered the position of the running mate by Buhari, he said he decided to maintain his position as a national leader. Before Osinbajo was named as Buhari's running mate, Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole, Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, and Lagos State Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, and of course past Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi were all tipped as possible candidates for the position. Kano State government says it has registered more than 3,000 internally displaced persons since the attack on Mubi town in Adamawa State by insurgents, that's in northeast Nigeria. Director General of the state, Hisbah Board, Alhaji Abba Sofi, confirmed this, stating that the state government directed the board to register and move some of the displaced persons to Dawakin Kudu, where they were being camped. He added that relief materials donated by individuals, philanthropists, and corporate organizations were distributed among the displaced persons. He called on all the displaced persons yet to register to do so. Still on internally displaced persons, Nigeria's Senate has urged the country's electoral body to create polling units for persons displaced due to the ongoing insurgency in the northeast of the country. The Senate Tuesday directed its committee to liaise with the authorities of INEC to establish special polling units. The upper chamber arrived at the decision after an extensive debate on a bill for the amendment to the Electoral Act 2014 sponsored by the senator representing Borno South Senatorial District, Senator Ali Ndume. Ndume's bill was seeking an amendment to Section 42 of the Electoral Act to make provisions for the enfranchisement of the IDPs in their various camps nationwide. Senate President David Mark, who presided over the session, said the process of amending the Electoral Act has been suggested by the bill is quite lengthy. The senators therefore voted for the withdrawal of Ndume's bill and instead passed a resolution directing its INEC committee to ensure that the electoral body put all necessary measures in place to make sure that all IDPs nationwide exercise their franchise in the forthcoming election. Nigeria's Inspector General of Police, Mr. Sulaiman Abba, has given approval that junior officers with higher qualifications should be considered and elevated to senior officer cadre. In a statement issued Tuesday by police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu in Abuja, he said the gesture was in line with the IG's resolve to boost the morale of the police workforce. He said that a circular to that effect had been issued to commands and formations across the country on Monday. Ojukwu said they were directed to comply and forward names of all serving inspectors and rank and file with higher certificates such as university degrees, HND, OND and NCE for necessary processing. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll look at business stories and, of course, a look at the foreign scene. Every day, every hour and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on TV360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions. Welcome back. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Wednesday presented the 2015 budget estimates of about 4.3 trillion naira before the National Assembly. She was delegated by President Goodluck Jonathan to present the estimates of the 2015 budget, as the president himself did not appear before a joint sitting of the National Assembly. She laid the document in separate appearances before the Senate and House of Representatives. There was not a joint sitting of the two chambers, as, of course, as we said, because the president did not appear. Ordinarily, if the president had appeared, he would have addressed a joint sitting of the National Assembly. Now, Okonjo-Iweala presented the estimates on the president's behalf. The coordinating minister of the economy came to the National Assembly with a retinue of other ministers and the Director General of Budget Office of the Federation, Dr. Bright Okogu. The president's decision to delegate the minister instead of doing the presentation himself had led to protest by some House members. However, Speaker of the House, Aminu Tambuwal, had told the House that the president was not under compulsion to make the presentation personally. Delta State Governor Emmanuel Uduaghan Wednesday represented a budget proposal of 327.68 billion naira for 2015 to the State House of Assembly in Asaba. Uduaghan said the estimate contained a recurrent expenditure of 161.6 billion naira and 166.07 billion capital estimates, representing 49.32 and 50.68%. respectively. He added that the 2015 proposed budget was lower than the 2015 fiscal estimates by 123.05 billion, explaining that the decrease was occasioned by the fall in the price of crude oil at the international market. Also presenting the budget for 2015 fiscal year was the Kwara State Governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, Wednesday in Ilorin, who of course presented an appropriation bill of 119.8 billion to the Kwara State House of Assembly for consideration. He stated that the amount showed an increase of 4.249 billion over the 2014 revised appropriation, which represents 3.7% increase. Ahmed said that the budget is made up of recurrent expenditure of 46.46 billion, which represents 39% of the total budget size. Now, Brent crude oil traded below $60 a barrel on Wednesday, near 5.5-year lows, as major oil producers signaled that they would maintain output despite a supply glut and faltering demand in Russia and Europe. Core Gulf OPEC members have said they are prepared to wait as long as a year for the market to stabilize, undercutting hopes they will step in to stem crude price losses. Oil prices have almost halved over the last 6 months as increasing volumes of light, high-quality crude from North American shale have overwhelmed demand. Now, up to 1 million people are at risk of going hungry in West African nations battling the Ebola virus due to border closures, quarantines, and crop losses, UN food agencies have said. The deadly hemorrhagic fever that has killed 6,800 people has severely disrupted daily life in the worst-hit nations of Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Guinea and Sierra Leone have gone so far as to ban Christmas celebrations. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Programme said on Wednesday the disease and the resulting restrictions had caused a significant shock to the food and agriculture sectors in the affected countries. UN insists that 500,000 people are currently in severe danger of going hungry, but this could top 1 million by March 2015 unless access to food is drastically improved and measures are put in place to safeguard crop and livestock production. Labor shortages have interrupted planting and weeding of crops, while fear of contagion is keeping people away from markets. Quite a sad story. Now, in its bid to curb the growing spread of the Ebola epidemic in Sierra Leone, authorities there have announced a house-to-house search for Ebola patients. The exercise, which will take place in the capital, Freetown, is aimed at finding hidden cases of Ebola. President Ernest Bai Koroma also said Sunday that Sunday trading would be banned and travel between districts restricted. The measures come after the authorities banned all public celebrations of Christmas and New Year in a bid to tackle the virus. Sierra Leone is one of the countries worst hit by Ebola, which has killed, of course, more than 6,800 people this year. Extreme measures there. Pakistan's Prime Minister has vowed to rid his country of terrorism after a Taliban attack at a school in Peshawar killed 141 students, mostly children. According to reports, the militants stormed the Army Public Schools auditorium where the students were learning first aid training from the military and started shooting. 5 or 6 militants wearing security uniforms entered the school, officials said. Gunfire and explosions were heard as security forces surrounded the area. The army eventually ended the siege, killing all the attackers. Many of the students were the children of military personnel. Most of them would have been aged 16 or under. Funerals of the victims are continuing. A Taliban spokesman said the assault is in response to army operations. The attack, the Taliban's deadliest in Pakistan, has been widely condemned. Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai also condemned the attack. The Pakistani child education activist said she was heartbroken by the news of the Taliban massacre. She was also a victim of the terror group after she was shot in the head by Taliban gunmen in October 2012 for campaigning for girls' education. U.S. and Cuba to start talks to normalize diplomatic ties and a historic shift in relations between the two countries, media reports say. American officials say the U.S. is looking to open an embassy in Havana in the coming months. The moves are part of a deal that saw the release of American Alan Gross to Cuba and includes the release of 3 Cubans jailed in Florida for spying. The 65-year-old has spent 5 years behind bars after being accused of subversion for trying to bring internet services to communities in Cuba. He earlier left Cuba on a U.S. government plane and was freed on humanitarian grounds. His arrest and imprisonment had undermined attempts to thaw diplomatic relations between the two countries. The 3 Cubans released in the U.S. are part of the so-called Cuban 5 convicted of spying. Prosecutors say the 5 had sought to infiltrate U.S. military bases and spied on Cuban exiles in Florida. To sports now, U.S. lawyer Michael Garcia has stepped down as the head of FIFA Ethics Committee. The man who spent 2 years investigating World Cup corruption claims for FIFA resigned from his position a day after a complaint filed by him was dismissed by football's governing body. His findings were released as a 42-page summary by FIFA-appointed independent judge Hans-Joachim Eckert. Garcia said his summary was incomplete and erroneous, and he appealed against it to FIFA's appeals committee. However, FIFA ruled that Garcia's complaint is not admissible. Garcia was appointed by FIFA to lead the investigation into the bidding process for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups in Russia and Qatar following a series of damaging allegations. Well, that's it on News Now for now. We thank you very much for watching. We're back again shortly.